Hello and welcome. Silrace here with World of Tanks. And you are seeing correctly, this is a tier 4 game. It is one of those. This was going so well. It was going so well until the very end. Anyway. I do not usually play tier 4 tanks. Like at all. And I have no idea how or why I have this thing in my garage. It must have been left over from when this line of tanks was added. And the funny thing is, I have the tier 5, but I don't know why I have this thing around at all. I have no clue. So when I realized that I have this thing, I thought, I'll play a couple of games with it, and then I will finally sell it. This is with like 50% crew and all, and like no equipment and whatnot. Like, I have absolutely nothing in it. Absolutely nothing in it. The thing is, as I mentioned, I do not play tier 4 and below tanks. Not since the changes to the tech trees. Like, I have no interest in it. In them at all, below tier 5. And the reasoning behind that... before I get to that, reminder to everybody, these are made from replays. Just to clarify that in case it is not clear. Anyway, the reasoning I have no, or the reason, one of them, there are a few, one of them I have no interest in playing below tier 5 is that there is no variety below tier 5 anymore. After they made it so that essentially the SPGs start at tier 5 and most of the actually interesting things start to happen in tier 5, tier 6 on the differences between tanks. Tier 1 to 4 I personally find is where most things are very similar to each other. In general. You have very little variety in the way tanks work, and I am accidentally blocking this B2 and noticing that just a little late. So for it. Missed that shot. That thing has a lot faster reload than I do, but I have a big gun for a tier 4. I have a decently big gun for a tier 4. And decent penetration as well. I will be able to smack that thing. Oh, hello. No, not that thing apparently. But that's okay. That's okay. I'm just here to work this corner and miss shots. And all sorts of stuff like that. And hi, if you just drive into the open like that, then that's good, right? At least for us, anyway. Please don't do that. And also, you find that kind of play at earlier tiers quite bad. In earlier tiers, in these low tier games, you find lots of folks who have very high skilled crews in low tier tanks and fully kitted out tanks and so on, just absolutely crushing people who are bad at the game or people who don't have very good setups for their tanks. And that's something I don't want to do, which is one reason why, for example, this tank has no equipment and 50% crew. I think it's like 60% crew, because I played it a couple rounds for some reason. Anyway, then if you look at the incoming damage there as well, the Panzer S-35 was firing nothing but premium ammo, isn't it? Gold ammo. Not gold ammo anymore, because you can actually buy it with credits now, the silver thing instead of gold as it used to be, but you get my point, right? It's a tier 4 game, it's firing nothing but premium ammo into a tank. It can definitely penetrate with regular rounds. I don't play these low tiers, I don't like them. Mostly because, like I said, the main reason is that past tier 5 you start, when you play tier 5, you start hitting into tier 6, tier 7, and you start running into a variety of things. Very different kinds of tank destroyers, heavy tanks, medium tanks that work differently, various different SPGs, and so on. And also, like, it starts to be a more varied game than it is at low tiers. So I basically just free XP my way through all the low tiers, straight to tier 5, and I am happier playing like a stock tank completely stock tank at tier 5 or even tier 6 than I am at playing, you know, tier 4 and below. But that's just me. If you like playing low tiers, more power to you. You like your stuff. You are welcome to enjoy the game however you wish. That's my opinion. I don't. However, I did kind of want to show this game off since, like I said, I had this tank, I played a few rounds with it, and one of these rounds turned out to be quite interesting. Other than this very slow driving around, I managed to grind down what is essentially a, you know, twinked out tank. And so on. And I also get myself into another fairly decent situation against somebody who's not paying any attention. Like at all. I'm trying to take the tracks off here. And I get the tracks off. And the reload on this thing is just a little too slow. Okay, that's a either repair kit or alright. Let's take the tracks off again. Or very good crew, and I don't think it's a very good crew because those tracks came off. And they stayed off. I'm trying to figure out, wait, where do I shoot to actually damage this thing while hitting the tracks? We get that thing grinded out, and I don't know what you're looking at. You're not looking at me. Now you're looking at me. And that is a snapshot and a half. And now we have done over 900 damage in a tier 4 tank, which is kind of silly to me. Now granted, if you are a really good player, and especially if you have like stacked out crew and twinked out tank and whatnot, you can probably do a whole bunch of stuff on this. And this is where I make kind of a mistake as well. I try to peek out, and I'm like, oh, okay. It's another one of those Panzer S-35s with 5 kills on it. That has to be a twinked out tank again. So I am not winning any vision games against it. I am fully expecting it to try and play the vision game against me though. So I am poking around a little bit here just to see if I get lucky somehow, like it shoots at me and I can actually get vision of it. But it doesn't shoot at me, which is probably the correct play, you know. Don't shoot and lower your camo. Since this is me and a really blind tank, right? So what I do instead is I start going back or going into the base. I'm like, okay, well, it's basically 2 of them versus 4 of us. Let's go cap out the base. Force it to, you know, do something else than hang around in their own base. And this is something I did not expect. I did not even see the Panzer on the minimap until it fired at me. And I'm like, wait, what? You came here? Okay. I was kind of expecting you to try and get a draw. But what I can do is I can duel you here for half a minute and ensure that the AMX can cap the base. And that is the goal here. And that was a really bad shot by me. Now I'm kind of in danger to losing the duel. Now, I'll pause here for a sec and give you something to think on. Again, if you're looking at, this is another Panzer S-35, which isn't firing nothing but premium ammo at me, so I'm not gonna bounce anything. The question here is, should I have reloaded to this HE shell or not? That is to me the big question. And the other thing is, should I have retreated behind this rock to my left? Instead of trying to fight it head on, make it come up to try, you know, make it really come up to fight me. Now I know I can take a hit or 2 from it still without dying. Even if it rolls high on the damage, I should be able to take 2 hits before it can, you know, finish me off. But there is the SPG to take into account. I have to hold for 17 seconds until the AMX caps the base and secures the victory. And if for some reason the SPG manages to hit the AMX and kill it, then I would have to do the capping likely. Because this is not fast enough tank that I can really go and find the SPG somewhere. Just a couple of things to think on. I load into the HE shell, hoping that the HE shell would be enough to do enough damage to get that 28 hit points. And this is where I... Nope. Okay. Well, let's load a basic shell then. And there is the double tap, right? However, if you look, we actually finished the game. We captured the base. The AMX wins us the game, and I did my job. I essentially held them back for long enough to achieve the victory. It was going so well until I blew up to this guy and the SPG. Anyway, hopefully that was entertaining. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you folks next time with more World of Tanks and not a tier 4 game.